Welcome back, y'all. So, headed into the other week or to the next weekend, and I just kind of wanted to give some little bit of an update. And as you can see, the garage is quite a mess. The house, thankfully, is not so much. Especially the living area is one of the living rooms I'm still trying to get together. But yeah, if you saw my last Instagram post, I'm in the midst of moving, and I have been for the last couple weeks. Last weekend was the biggest of the moves, and I got the last of the big things. And the cool part is, I finally have my washer and dryer here. So I almost feel like I'm officially in Virginia because I can finally take care of business here instead of having to take laundry down 4 hours to do laundry there, and then kind of waste a couple of hours of the weekend. But that's besides the point. Um, so not going to be able to do any work on the car this weekend, obviously, since it'll be up here. But I did do some work to it this week. Thanks to a friend who gave me a tip, because he had the exact same issue I was having, which was an oiling issue, or I should say an oil leak issue. And so I have the IAG, excuse me, competition series oil pan. Fantastic thing. Love the baffling and the flaps, to make sure the oil is where it needs to be and not escaping and sloshing all over the place so it doesn't damage the oil pickup. But after the track, I noticed I was dripping quite a massive ton. And my friend had done the Redneck JB Weld solution for his. It came out great, and I was like, you know what? I am tired of oil leaking from the car. The stigma and stereotype of a Subaru. So I decided to give his advice a try. And last night I drove to a friend's house. So round trip, it was about 30 miles. And beforehand, I looked under, and there was nothing. So I drove it down there. I was a bit apprehensive, and it was sitting in his driveway. And then I drove back, even more apprehensive. And I let it cool overnight. This morning I checked, and there's still nothing. Not even the cooling fins on the bottom of the oil pan have anything. And so let me see if I can show you all really quick, but you probably won't be able to see very well. There we go. So yeah, you're not going to be able to see all too well on the oil pan itself, but it's dry, which is not something that I am used to seeing. And even cooler, excuse me there, even cooler, and sorry for any headphone users there, but there's nothing on the drip pan either. So needless to say, I think we got it. And I do want to point out, because I'm an idiot, and I had this discussion with my friend too, and he was like, whoa, wait, did you really? So way back when the engine got built, and I'm sure my tuner or my builder told me, but I forgot, but I have an external oil cooler on the car, and I had lapsed memory, didn't realize that I needed an extra quart of oil because of it. So in all actuality, I think there's over 20,000 miles, probably getting close to 22,000 miles on this build, which is absolutely insane. If anybody knows built Subaru engines, especially since I drag raced it at the beginning, and then there were a good several months where I had a 700 wheel tune on it that I ran it on, just because that was a lot funner on the streets than the 500, especially with the boost spiking. Anyway, I never had an oil leak, and I came to find out that was because I was always running low oil. I never added that extra quart that is required because of the oil cooler. Now, the reason why this never bothered me was because I thankfully have a oil pressure gauge, and the oil pressure gauge never showed anything low. It was always upper 90s to 100 pounds on cold start, and then 70 to 80 while cruising, and 20 to 30, maybe a little bit into the teens if it was quite a warm day, but it never dipped below anything that looked suspicious. So I never even thought about it. It wasn't until I started tracking the car on the first event that I ever went to was at VIR, and that's when I had the inclination to check the oil level after an oil change and realized that I had always been running low on oil. And coincidentally, I had also started little trickles of oil at that time. So actually filling it up to the proper level made it drip out. But that was because as I was doing the JB weld on the dipstick tube hole for the oil pan, the O-ring that goes into the oil pan was a little bit pinched. So I'm not sure if I pushed that out at one point or what happened. Either way, there was a massive amount of oil coming out of there. And at the track, I definitely overfilled it a little bit this past time, because when I came back and I checked the oil, it said it was low. Excuse me, just ate dinner. But yeah, I was leaking oil, came back, and the drip pan was just full of oil. It was extremely bad. So that leaked out, and then I left it for the weekend, came back, JB welded it, and it hasn't been a problem. So I think we got that problem solved. So next up is going to be the alignment, and hopefully getting the Gymkhana exhaust. I have it sitting back there. Not sure if you guys can see it, but there should be right there, Gymkhana exhaust. So just gonna install that just to have some fun here and there, and then cruise down to Norfolk with my buddy who just bought a Z06. So those are the coming updates. I do want to be transparent since I do have this other real estate venture going on. Cash and money for projects is going to be a little bit short, but I'm going to try to keep as much content going as I possibly can. But on top of that, when I'm not able to go to the track and there's long lulls, I'm not sure if I've mentioned it before, but I do have a want to get into simulator racing and driving as well. Get the experience on there, although it's going to be nothing like on track, quite obviously, but familiarize myself with the track as best I can through the simulator, so that when I do go to tracks, it's all that much better. But yeah, those are the only plans that I have so far. I do need to get a driver's seat, just because I want a driver's seat that actually allows me to get the submarine belts in, and also something that's fixed back, because this one's reclinable. Not that bothers me at all, but this one's also getting torn apart from getting in and out of it so darn often. So got that little issue going on. The seats are great. I'm a little bit too small for them, but they hold me just fine when we're on track, especially when the harnesses are on. So don't really have that big of an issue with it. But also need to get some brake pads. I don't know if you guys saw my post on that on Instagram, but they're pretty toast, and you can't tell really from here. You can kind of see. There we go. You can see how far I've got, like maybe 15 to 20% life left on the front brake pads. The rear brake pads aren't as bad, but regardless, I want to get some new ones. And then obviously, based on previous videos and posts, I need to get some new tires. And it might upset some people because I I was originally going to go with R888s or NTO1s, but after some talking with shops and a couple buddies and the friend of mine who is trying to see if he can fit me into the team for the VIR endurance race, he recommended the Hankook RS4s. So I'm going to go with those, especially since I'm on more of a budget right now. But yeah, that's the plan. Alignment and to play with exhaust, and then new tires and brake pads to get this thing ready, and all done while I'm in the midst of moving. And this is all just it disgusts me to see it. But until next time, y'all, try to keep things rolling as best I can. So until then, stay driven.